Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Oh, Krista, you made it. You're the first person I see it on the screen. Good to see you. Jean's here, and oh, Colleen, always amazing to see you. I love how the sun is shining on your face. And Anna's here. I love your pigtails. I don't know if I've seen that before. That's fun. I don't think my hair is long enough to do pigtails right now. Maybe I'll have to grow it out. And Deborah's here. Good to see you. Lindsay, oh my God, it's been years. I feel like it since I've seen you. We still gotta get that lunch or whatever. You're out of school now, right? Yeah. We gotta make that date.
Yes,
Lindsay and I worked together. I don't even probably want to age this, like 20 years ago or something. It was
I think even more because my oldest is almost 24 and I came to work right after I had her. So yeah, probably about
yeah, and my
22
my oldest
years.
son is 21 and I met you before I was pregnant with him. So
Yep.
yeah. Lindsay and I go back. Oh, good. Now I can see you, Jean. And Matt's here, Natalie's here. Nice to see ya. We have Christine and Ash, Shauna, Elise. Welcome. I am so excited to be able to spend the next hour with you. And I'm so excited you're here for the Soul Awakening Summit. For those of you who I have not had a chance to meet, my name is Amber Maier, and I'm going to be your host and your guide this week. I am a soul alignment coach. I'm the creator of the Akashic Angel Healing Academy, and I am really passionate about helping light workers like you step into your power and connect with your purpose and share your light with the world. And so you have really taken a powerful step by signing up for this summit and showing up today. And so this is really a space for growth and for connection and for awakening. And it's where you're going to discover new insights and tools and inspiration to help you really align with your soul's highest calling. And I personally believe that there are no accidents, that you're here because your soul is ready for the next step. And I am honored that you said yes to this and to walk alongside with you. I know that, this is 3 days. We have a couple hours each day. I know how hard it is to even fit in like one extra hour of something in your week. So I really appreciate you all coming and spending this time with us this week. And so, as we're getting started, as we are getting going, I would love to hear where you are calling in from. Let me know. It'll be fun to see how spread out we are. Because I know I'm in Minnesota, and I know a few of you are in this area, but I think most of you actually aren't from Minnesota. So this should be fun to see where everyone's from. And so Melanie's in Virginia. Kelly is in West Palm Beach, which most of the year I wish I was there. We have some, Elise is in Minneapolis too. We have New York, North Carolina, Idaho, Mississippi, Washington, further south in Minnesota, Texas, Canada. Awesome. Yeah, amazing. It's so fun to see people from so many different places come together, and hopefully by the end of this, we'll start to feel a little bit more like soul family too. So I want to go ahead and set the tone for the time that we're going to spend together for the next 3 days. And so if you are ready to commit to going even deeper with the awakening journey that you're already on, I want you to drop a big yes in the chat. And the reason we're doing this is because when you claim something, like you actually put that energy out into the universe. And so I really want us to be able to like claim this space for transformation right now. Awesome. Yes, we are all in it to win it this week. Amazing. I love the yes. So this summit was created with one purpose in mind: to support your soul awakening journey. And so over the next 3 days, we're going to explore what it means to connect deeply with your intuition and to work in alignment with your angels and guides and really step boldly into your light and purpose. And you all are probably aware of this piece already, but that awakening is really beautiful, but it's also really a vulnerable process, and it's not always easy. It can really be a process of shedding and growing and becoming, and it really can be about like peeling back back the layers of what no longer serves you, so you can really start to embody your truth. And so that's why this summit brings together presenters that have walked this path and are on this journey with you. Every person you are going to meet this week has faced challenges and have really discovered their own unique gifts. And now they are sharing their magic with the world. And so my hope is that their wisdom and their courage and their authenticity will inspire you and remind you that you too are capable of profound transformation and magic in your life too. So tell me in the chat too, what's one thing that you hope to gain from this summit? Like really like what brought you here? Maybe it's a sense of clarity, or maybe there's some sort of breakthrough you're looking for, or maybe there's even a specific message you're looking for from your angels. Let's throw that in the chat. We can inspire each other with what we're hoping to get from the summit too. Kelly, you want to learn some new healing modalities. Yeah, it feels like I always feel like a kid in a candy shop when it comes to new modalities. There's just always so many fun ones to learn and explore. Healing and connection, and a stronger connection and trust in your intuition, need a refresher, spiritual growth, peace and serenity. Yeah, amazing. And Mary, you've been focusing on learning more connection with your angels. Amazing. Well, I think you're going to love today because you get to connect with your guardian angel today. So that'll be a fun one. Oh, and at least you're ready to take the next step and you want clarity. Yeah, so good. And Darlene, deeper connections and experience with the angels. Yeah. Oh, and Shauna, I love being accountable and creative. I love that you put those two words together. It's not always what people put together, but I think sometimes we really hold ourselves back in our growth because we're not holding ourselves accountable. So I love that you're feeling that right now. So I just want to give you a quick sneak peek at all the powerful sessions that our luminaries have lined up to support your soul awakening this week. So right after the session you're in now at 6 p.m. Central Time, we have From Obedience to Sovereignty with Melanie, and she's going to help you reclaim your energy from old patterns of people pleasing and performance that are still living in your body. And then we have 2 sessions lined up for you tomorrow, one starting at 5 p.m. Central Time, and Barbara's going to guide us and release the blocks and activate your Lightworker blueprint. This is going to be a powerful healing activation to clear the doubts and fears that keep you playing small and help you really connect with your divine purpose. And then following right after Barbara at 6 p.m. Central Time, Kelly is going to bring Helping You Transform and Rise. And she's going to be sharing a really powerful journey using hypnosis and intuitive guidance to help you shift your energy and really elevate your life. And then our final day on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Central Time, we start with Embracing Spirit and Humanity in Uncertain Times with Sam, who is going to show you how to stay connected to your soul while navigating real life challenges with grace and grounding, which I think we all probably could use a little bit more of that right now. And then our finale is at 6 p.m. following Sam with The Soul's Awakening with Teresa. And it's going to be a really heart-centered session to help you move forward from your mind to your soul and really quiet the noise and live from love, truth, and compassion. So each one of these sessions is crafted to help you connect more deeply with your intuition and align with your soul's purpose and step in your light. And so you might be asking yourself, who are these luminaries? So the luminaries presenting at this summit are incredible lightworkers who have journeyed through both my Akashic Angel Healing Academy, or you might hear me call it AHA for short, and the Lightworker Luminaries Business Mastermind. And as graduates of AHA, they've received dual certifications in Akashic Record Reading and Angel Healing, and they've really mastered the art of working with the Akashic Records and angels for profound healing and transformation. And in the mastermind, they've taken their gifts to the next level, and they've built soul aligned businesses and have stepped confidently into their roles as leaders and change makers. And so I think this group of luminaries absolutely embody the heart of spiritual service, and their sessions are a reflection of their powerful gifts and really the light that they have to share with the world. And I think you are going to be just wowed by the amazing gifts and healing that they share with us this week. I can't wait to be a part of them as a participant. So if you are feeling ready for this journey, give me a hell yes in the chat, and we'll start to jump in today. And of course, I'm lucky I've been able to experience all sorts of healing from this group of folks, and I just can't wait for you to experience it too. Yes, lots of hell yeses. Awesome. Okay, so here's what we're going to be covering today in this opening session. We're going to explore what it truly means to explore a soul awakening. Because I think if I were to ask each and every one of you, how would you define a soul awakening? You'd probably all give me a different answer, which actually isn't a bad thing. But we'll chat a little bit deeper about what it actually means and why um, it's really an essential step in your journey to live in alignment with your soul's purpose. And then we'll talk about the role of intuition really as your soul's guide, like how it acts as a compass and really leads you towards empowerment and alignment, and really how it's your most powerful tool for navigating life and connecting with the higher wisdom and support of your angels and guides, which I'm hearing from many of you is one of the reasons why you're here. You want to be able to forge that deeper connection and communication with your angels. And so we'll explore one of the biggest blocks to developing your intuition so you can let that go and really allow your intuitive senses to blossom. And then finally, you'll meet and receive messages from your guardian angel about your soul purpose. So it's going to be a really fun session on what we're going to dig into today. And so before we totally dive in, I want to share a little bit about myself for those of you who I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet. Again, my name's Amber, and I'm a soul alignment coach and the founder of the Akashic Angel Healing Academy. And I'm really passionate about helping Lightworkers step into their power and connect with their purpose and share their light with the world. And I'm really passionate about this work because I deeply believe that at the root of our personal struggles, and really probably a lot of the challenges we face in the world overall, is really a profound disconnection. I think it comes from this disconnection from our soul and from our intuitive wisdom, and really from the divine light that we're here to share. And so for us as light workers, this often shows up as feeling lost or unclear or really like unsure how to fully step into the work that we know we're meant to do. And so it can feel like maybe you've forgotten your purpose, or like something's missing, or maybe even if you can't name what it is, it just feels like there's something that should be there. But what I have found is that the key to transformation really lies in this reconnection, like a reconnection with your soul, with your purpose, and with the divine support that's always been there for you. And your intuition is the bridge. And so when you embrace your intuition as your soul's guide, everything begins to shift. You know, your life becomes more aligned, more joyful, more empowered, and your path as a light worker becomes so much clearer. And so that's one of the big reasons why I love to teach people how to connect with their intuition and their angels and guides, because I think it's just this bridge for so many other things to happen in your life. And so I've been where many of you might find yourself now, maybe not fully trusting your gifts or knowing how to really confidently share them with others. Um, I like to tell people like I wasn't born as what I call like a natural born psychic. You know, like one of those people is almost like they fell out of the womb talking to ghosts and angels and all of those things. You know, I actually struggled for years with self-doubt and like super bad skepticism. You know, I tried books and workshops and paced courses and all of those different things. And I felt like I was only ever just like scratching the surface and never really seemed to move the needle. And so what really changed everything for me was discovering how to work with the angels and the Akashic records. And it was with these tools that I not only developed my gifts, but I also healed really deep wounds, and I dissolved limiting beliefs, and I was able to really step into my purpose. And so that's why I'm so passionate about sharing this work, because I know the transformation it can bring. And honestly, I know if I can do it, I know anyone can. And so the truth that I want you all to know is that we are all intuitive. So a question I get a lot is like, am I intuitive enough to do this? Am I gifted enough to do this? The answer is yes. You know, all of us can talk directly to our angels and guides. Intuition is not a gift that is reserved for a select few. It's something that we're all actually born with. But unfortunately, society doesn't teach us how to nurture this gift. You know, oftentimes we're taught to ignore it or even fear it. And so if you struggle to connect with your intuition, I want you to know this, that it's not because you're not gifted, you're simply disconnected. And the good news is that you can reconnect. And so I've seen this reconnection change lives, certainly mine, my students, and countless others. And so I really want you to take a moment and imagine what's possible for you if you could fully tap into your intuition and your spiritual nature. And so I want you to even just close your eyes right now and really feel into this. Like, how would it feel if you finally understood your soul's purpose? And how would your life change if you had a deep, unshakable connection to your angels and guides. And what kind of life could you co-create for yourself if you fully stepped into your power? If all those blocks that you're experiencing are gone, what is possible? Just really feel into that for a moment. What would that look like for you? What would it feel like? Once you get a sense of that, I want you to share what really stuck out to you in the comments with me, with each other. Like when I feel into that, I just feel like how profound it feels to just trust and not have to spend so much of my time worrying and trying to figure things out if that's the right choice. I don't know if a lot of you do that. And if you spend lots of time trying to figure out what the right choice is, oh yeah, Shauna, fearless, really. Yeah, trust really can help you be fearless for sure. Oh, Mary, you felt goosebumps and just ignite and kept hearing the word trust over and over. Okay, awesome. You're feeling the trust too. And Sam, feeling confident, trusting myself that things will work out if you're living in your purpose. Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Oh, light and love. I love that, Krista. Thank you all for sharing. Oh, and Christine, I see you would feel more confident too. Yeah. Just imagine how different your day would feel if you woke up and you're like, I'm really confident today about everything that I'm going to do and every decision that I'm going to make. Just like, I think we would just feel like we're in flow all the time. And Darlene, you would move more freely into your purpose without fear and more confidence. There's the word again. Empowered and confident. Balanced. Love it. Positive and uplifting, peaceful. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I find when I'm trusting, it's like, all those worries and all those anxieties, they just kind of melt away and you're in a flow state and you feel so much more peaceful. Love that. So I really want you all to claim those things for yourself. Just claim it now. It is possible. And this is the journey that you're on to really open up your intuition as really a vehicle in your soul awakening, help you really understand your purpose, really trust yourself, trust the universe. Mm-hmm. So that's really what these workshops are all about: awakening your gifts, connecting to your soul's wisdom, and really aligning your life with your deepest purpose. And so this week, we're going to explore how to dissolve blocks, how to amplify your intuition, and really create a life that truly reflects who you are at a soul level. Yeah, and Joanna, you say, hopefully soon too. Yes, yes, for sure. All right, well, let's start by exploring what it means to experience a soul awakening. Really at its core, a soul awakening is the process of discovering your deeper truths and aligning with your soul's purpose. It's about reconnecting with the divine wisdom that's within you and uncovering your unique gifts and really living in harmony with the universe and your place in it. And the other thing that I think is important to understand is that an awakening isn't just like this momentary realization. It's not like this one time this thing happens to you and boom, you're awake. It's really more of like this transformative journey that just like unfolds over time and continues to guide you to a more authentic and a more empowered life. And what a soul awakening does is it really invites you to step beyond the surface of everyday life and helps you dive into the essence of who you truly are. And there's this profound realization of your connection to something greater. And I think that's a lot of what we're all craving here, to really be able to like feel that support and really have that communication with our angels and our guides, really our divine support team. And so when we realize that we have this connection to something greater, whether we call it spirit, creator, God, the divine, universe, it's, you know, through this process that you begin to align your actions and your thoughts and your energy to your soul's highest calling. And so soul awakening is really about living a life that feels deeply purposeful and joyful and true to who you are. And so I want to share some signs with you that your soul is awakening. And I want you to listen to these and, you know, maybe, I don't know, write down the ones that you're experiencing and, you know, which ones really stick out for you. So, one big sign that your soul is awakening is inner restlessness. You know, this feeling that there's something missing or out of place, or you know, even if everything like appears fine on the outside, sometimes this restlessness oftentimes feels like I'm running out of time. Like I have to do this now. I'm running out of time. I should have done this before. Is a big way that this shows up. And I know this was definitely one that line that came up for me when I was first starting my soul awakening. You know, it just felt like I like my life on the outside, everything seemed so perfect, but yet it like there was this just deep feeling of something that was missing. Another sign of going through a soul awakening is feeling out of alignment. You know, so this might look like a growing awareness that whatever your current path is, maybe it's your work, your relationships, your lifestyle, it like no longer resonates with who you are becoming. And so sometimes these show up as external things, but really it's more internal. Sometimes it shows up as like questioning values of who you are. So sometimes you might find yourself really having like a big change in like the friends that you have, or maybe there were things that you were super into before that you're not now. You know, whether it's a sport you used to follow or the type of movies or books you used to like to read, and now it just seems to shift. Another sign is like a sudden need for change. So sometimes it can come through as this like urge to let go of what no longer serves you, and explore new opportunities, even if they feel uncertain. I have definitely done some of these things, and typically what I found is like I want to do them all at once. You know, it's like you want to purge your house, get rid of all your clothes, you want a new job, you know, all the, you know, I'm going to start a class, I'm going to do all the different things at once, you know. So I found that I usually have these changes come up like all at once. Another sign that your soul is awakening is heightened intuition. So you might have a stronger sense of like an inner knowing or like intuitive nudges that guide you towards new perspectives or new thoughts, new decisions, things like that. And so even if your intuition isn't necessarily connected to the point where you want it to be, you've probably maybe even experienced what might feel like some roller coasters with it, where you have these deep connections and these amazing aha moments, and then you're like, where did it go? And then you struggle to like get it back. And then another sign too of a spiritual, a soul awakening is this like desire for spiritual growth. So it can come with this deep yearning to explore different spiritual practices or healing practices, connect with your inner self, you know, seek guidance from angels, guides, the universe. I think the time where I started my awakening process, like I don't even know how many spiritual books I read in 1 year. Like I really should go back through and read them a little bit more slowly. But it was like I couldn't get enough, you know, like that insatiable thirst that happens, you know. And so, you know, if you're like, I want to take every energy healing class that there is, and I'm going to read every single spiritual book that's out there. And I described it as like that kid in the candy shop feeling where it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, how do I even choose between all this amazing stuff, you know? But that's definitely a sign that your soul is awakening too. And so let me know in the chat, like, is there one that you feel like you're experiencing the most out of all these signs? There are of course more, but these are some of the biggies. Oh, and Joanna, you're outside and you just found a small white feather. Yes, that's a sign for all of us. I love it. I love it. I just found a feather from a blue jay yesterday. I usually don't find those. It was just bright blue and striped. And on a walk today, I saw a little fawn waiting for its mom. He had the cutest little ears. Okay, so Lindsay, desire for spiritual growth. Yeah. Oh, Jen, you found a blue jay one yesterday too. Awesome. We'll have to figure out what our twinning messages are about here. Thirst for knowledge, inner restlessness, and desire for spiritual growth, restlessness. Okay, craving a sense of purpose. Yeah, we definitely are seeing some themes here for sure. Yeah, yeah. Well, amazing. Oh, and Jean, letting go of what no longer serves you, gathering all knowledge possible. Oh, and Mary, you have a cardinal that visits every afternoon. Yeah, I love bird energy. They're like my main spirit animals. They're so amazing. Oh, and Lindsay, you found a feather on the river on Saturday. We're all getting beautiful messages from our angels. They always find the most interesting ways to drop those feathers in to make sure that we receive them or any of their other little messages. Beautiful. Amazing. So, all these different things that we're going through, they don't necessarily feel easy. They can feel a bit disorienting. They can feel a bit scary at first, but really, there's signs that you're being called to step into greater alignment with your soul. And remember, it's a process. It's a journey. It's not something that we do overnight. And so, as much as it's important to understand what a soul awakening is, I think it's also important to understand and address some of the misconceptions maybe about what a soul awakening process is too. Um, I think that this was certainly me when I started the process, but many people think of like a soul awakening as this purely like peaceful and blissful experience. But the truth is, it's usually kind of the opposite. It's not always easy. Where it is a beautiful and fulfilling journey, it also requires a lot of courage and self-honesty. And so awakening also often involves like confronting discomfort or letting go of old patterns or facing parts of yourself that maybe you have avoided for, I don't know, your whole lifetime. So these challenges are a natural part of transformation and can lead to incredible growth and freedom. And what we find about growth is that it's rarely easy. One of my favorite sayings, I don't even know where this comes from, but it's like um, there is no growth in comfort and there's no comfort in growth. So it kind of goes both ways. So it's not very easy. And I think that, you've all probably heard people call people like spiritual warriors, and it's not necessarily that you're fighting all this evil outside of you. What you're doing is you're really confronting the shadows you haven't faced for a long time in yourself, and facing those truths and being able to actually love yourself through it. It's really hard. And it takes some time. And so I always like to ask the angels when we do these live sessions if they have a message for us. And so this morning I asked the angels what they wanted us to know about soul awakening. And so Archangel Uriel came through right away with a message for us. And so I just wanted to share that briefly with you all too. And so this is what he said. He said, think of awakening like being able to find your light within. He says it's always been there, but maybe up to this point you haven't been able to see it, or you didn't realize that this is your light, that it's not coming from outside of you. And that he says that an awakening is really the rise of the higher self, your soul self, this part of you that knows and understands that you're connected to something much bigger, much greater than your individual self. And this awakening is really the rise of this part of yourself into consciousness, into your conscious mind and your conscious life. And he says, again, it's always been there. But with this rise comes your power. And it helps us get out of the auto drive of unconscious living and to stop being a puppet to unconscious beliefs and thinking that's out of alignment with our truth. And he says that the awakening process really helps us rise into the truth of who we are, the truth of how powerful we are. And then that's when we're able to become these conscious co-creators of our lives. And we really get to own our power, that we get to consciously choose love again and again. And so he says that awakening is a remembering, that awakening is a rising, that it's a shedding of the false and an embodiment of what is true. And that the one thing he says he wants us to focus on is that soul awakening needs curiosity. That curiosity opens up the space for higher perspectives to rise and the old paradigm of thinking to be able to fall away. And so he's asking you to remain curious about yourself, to remain curious about your life and curious about your truth. He's saying to really embody the spirit of like, I wonder, instead of being set on thinking you know the answer, about yourself, your beliefs, the truth. And that this I wonder spirit really creates the openness that allows these new perspectives and the truth to rise through you. And that he also is saying that it's curiosity that allows you to connect to your higher self and your angels through your intuition. That if that really helps open up what is possible there. So I thought that was a really interesting message about curiosity. I loved it. So maybe think about that. Like, where can you bring more curious energy this week? Instead of like coming forward with an I know energy, to try to really embody like a student's energy, like that learner's mind, to really come at things with curiosity. I was just reading a book the other day that used that example of like, you can't pour into a full cup, like if you were to like pour yourself a glass of water or a cup of tea, and if your cup was already full, nothing else is going to go in, you know? Um, and so I think sometimes coming at things like, what if I didn't know anything? You tend to learn a lot more. I don't know. What does Uriel's message bring up for all of you? Anything rise to the surface? Truth bombs, as always. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he was really giving me the impression that people felt like awakening was like opening something new in them. But he just kept saying over and over, he's like, this has always been there. You're just remembering it. You're just allowing it to rise. You're just allowing the other stuff to fall away. And I thought that was a really nice message. And Christine, you've been opening your creative side regarding your career and finding online classes to support and find a new career. Amazing. Yeah. Yeah, it's a great place to become curious. I love it. And Kelly, you're being told to trust. Yeah, that trust word. That trust word just keeps coming up, huh? It's our theme of the day. Awesome. So I love how Uriel tied this curious energy in with being a key tool to open up your intuition, which really your intuition is a powerful tool for empowerment and growth on your soul awakening path, because your intuition is like your soul's voice. It's like your inner compass guiding you towards a life that you're meant to live. And so I like to think of it almost like a direct line to like your higher self and the divine wisdom that is within. And when you're able to learn to listen and trust your intuition, that's when you gain access to that clarity, that alignment, that sense of empowerment that we're all looking for to help us navigate our lives and our challenges, and really be able to face our life with a lot more confidence. So I see intuition is not even just a tool, it's almost more like a bridge to your inner truths that are going to bring you towards that more purposeful, soul aligned life. And during a soul awakening, intuition really plays a central role. It acts as like this guiding light, helping you identify what is out of alignment and like what steps to take next to get into deeper alignment. And so intuition really connects you to your soul's deepest desires and needs and helps you discern what feels right and true, even in those moments that you might be feeling doubt or you might be feeling really uncertain. And when you really embrace this inner compass of your intuition, that's how you strengthen your self-trust. That's how you gain clarity. And that's how you deepen your understanding of your soul purpose. And so intuition also really works hand in hand, of course, with receiving guidance of your angels and your other spiritual allies. We have to be able to learn how this channel works and how we receive messages to be able to be in like deeper communion with our angels. And it's these divine beings that can provide us a lot of insight and support and healing, and really support us through our awakening journey. They're, just profound friends that we want to have with us on this journey. And so for intuition to flow freely, it's really essential to clear any blocks that might be holding you back. And so when we work to clear these energies and mental barriers, that's where we create space for our intuition to emerge more clearly and more powerfully. And so many of you probably have experienced an intuitive block or two. Who here has experienced blocks to your intuition? Probably everyone, right? Yeah, I mean, I can put both my hands up for sure. So there's lots of different blocks that can keep us from developing our intuition and really connecting with our angels and guides the way that we want to. And I want to talk about one of those blocks today. And it's really one of the most common ones that I see people struggling with. And it's really unrealistic expectations of how intuition should work or how you expect that you're going to receive messages. So when we don't know what to expect and like we're looking for something else, we actually like miss everything that's actually happening. And then we miss the guidance that we're actually receiving. And then this leads us to believe that we're blocked and that we're not intuitive. And you can see that the cycle just kind of continues to go on and on. And so when you can release this block, you can really deepen your connection with your inner guidance and your angels. So let's dig into it a little bit. So people will often have this expectation on how they're going to experience their messages. They think that these intuitive messages are going to come in like a really loud, dramatic way. Like I think we often learn from Hollywood, on what this looks like, like physically seeing a spirit in the room, like someone that looks so real, like you could touch them, or like really having like a super clear back and forth conversation. For most people, like 99.9% of people, that's not how it works. It's typically it feels like more like a passing thought or a hunch or a feeling or like you're daydreaming. So it tends to be so much more subtle than that. So you are likely receiving all sorts of intuitive messages already. You just need to be able to learn to recognize really how quiet and subtle these messages are. And then the other tricky thing about intuition is that sometimes you also have to learn how to interpret them. A piece of the unrealistic expectation around intuition and connecting with your angels is that we expect it to be like really direct and logical, like a physical language. And intuition doesn't always follow a logical or a linear path. Oftentimes it's really symbolic and it's abstract and it requires that interpretation again. And so it can make it feel less reliable or difficult to trust at first. But with guidance and practice, you really can develop the ability to translate and be open to knowing what is a message and what's not. And so the key is to really stay open and patient and like honestly be willing to embrace the weirdness of intuitive guidance, that it's not always going to make perfect sense and that's okay. And so one of the best pieces of advice I've ever received about developing intuition from a mentor, I want to share with you today, because it was very, very helpful for me. She said, it's going to feel like you're making shit up. The sooner you can accept that, the better off you're going to be. And she was super right. Because honestly, there's still times where I receive messages where it feels like I'm making shit up. It's not necessarily that I've developed my intuition so much that I can physically see my angel in front of me and touch their hand and do all those things. I just know I've been able to practice enough that I know what a message is and how my guides communicate with me, and that it's become like this flowing conversation with my angels and guides. But that's a piece of it. So if you feel like you're making shit up, I just want you to know you're on the right track. That's really how most people feel. It's just everyone feels like they're making shit up. It's just some people trust the process more than others. And so all of us say that we're here to trust the process. So let's just lean into that. So the other unrealistic expectation is to expect that you're instantly going to become a master of your intuition. Who here has ever listened to a meditation that was meant to open up your intuitive senses, and you really had that hope and dream that it was going to like blast open your third eye, you were going to open your eyes from the meditation, and you were going to see an angel across the room from you? Anyone? Yeah. Oh, put both hands up. I was disappointed over and over and over that didn't happen. It would be really cool. It really would. There are some healings, of course, and meditations that really can help open up your intuitive gifts, but usually they don't have that dramatic of impact on our intuitive gifts. And so I like to compare this to like playing a piano. I don't have a musical bone in my body. Um, so if I were to decide that I really want to play Mozart, I am probably going to have to learn how to read music because I can't even do that. I would have to learn, where the notes are on the keyboard. I would have to know how to play chords together. The pedals that are on a piano, I don't even know what those do. I'd probably have to learn something about that. But it's unlikely that I would have the thought that I'm going to do this amazing meditation and I'm going to be able to play Mozart tomorrow. Like it just seems silly, right? If we compare it to that. And so intuition is actually really kind of the same way. It's like learning a really weird language. It's kind of the same thing. Like I probably would not be able to learn how to speak French really quickly or something like that because it's not a language I'm familiar with at all. So it's a natural gift, but it is something that grows stronger with practice and patience and trust. So it's actually it's one of those things that's kind of like exercise. Like you really got to put the reps in to be able to really build that trust and really deepen those skills. So we get our messages through what we call the clairs, so these are really your intuitive senses. There's a variety of different clair senses. I'm going to just very briefly share the main four ones with you, and so you can get an idea of how these senses are going to come through when we do our meditation to meet your guardian angel in just a minute here. So we call them the clairs because all of them start with the word clair. Everyone here is probably familiar with clairvoyance, so basically it translates into clear seeing or clear vision. And so this is the ability to receive information through like images and colors and symbols. It's a lot like how you would daydream. And so typically for folks, it's not like a dramatic full-blown vision, and it's something more like in your mind's eye, like your imagination, not with your physical eyes. Most people don't see things with their physical eyes. And then there's clairaudience, and so this is clear hearing. This is connected to the chakras in your ears, where your clairvoyance is connected to your third eye. And so clairaudience is the ability to hear information that isn't physically audible. So you might hear. I'll rephrase this a little bit. So it would typically, like with clairaudience, would be like hearing a song, like when you're in that in-between state, like when you're like half awake, half asleep, and you wake up with a song in your head, and you're like, I have no idea where that came from. Like I haven't heard that song in ages. Like that's a way that your angels will communicate with you through clairaudience. The reason I pause though is like sometimes you actually hear the song. Like I don't know how many of you have you been like driving in the car and then suddenly you're like, why is this song on for the fourth time when I'm just running to the grocery store? Yep, that is how persistent your angels are, because they're just like, you didn't get the first time, you didn't get the second time, you didn't even get it the third time, I'm going to play it the fourth time. And so they'll do these things to get your attention. And so like if you hear stuff like that on repeat, it's like, okay, there's a message in here for me, I should probably pay attention, right? So sometimes you'll actually hear stuff with your physical ears. Then there's clairsentience. So this is clear feeling. And so there's really almost like two kinds of clairsentience. There's more like somatic clairsentience. So this is where like you feel energy somewhere in or around your body. And then there's more of like empathic clairsentience. And so this is where you would like feel someone else's emotions. So being able to walk into a room and feel that there was just an argument happening in there, or maybe your friend says they're fine, but they're really sad, even though they're not giving anything away. That's more of the empathic. I'm guessing some of you have probably picked up on ailments of your loved ones, like, why do I suddenly have a headache? Or why does my knee hurt? And then the next thing your kid or your partner is like, I have a headache. And you're like, oh, okay, that's why. So that's more the somatic side of it. And then there's claircognizance. So this is like connected to your crown chakra, and this means clear knowing. So this is when you just know something without having any like logical or factual reason for it. So you just receive like insights or downloads that suddenly can be profound. Or a lot of times how this actually works for people is they open their mouth and something comes out and they're like, I don't even know where that came from. You just like become the channel. Oh, and Joanna, you wake up every morning with a song in your head, your spiritual download through music. Oh, awesome. I love that. I hope you keep a journal of it, and just like write it down every day. That'd be so cool. The last one, Lindsay, is called claircognizance. So again, everyone experiences intuition differently. If we all experienced it the same, we could write one book on it, we could study it, and we'd all get it, right? But a lot of times I call it like creating your own intuitive dictionary. You kind of have to figure out how you receive information and how to interpret it, and is it a message for you, is it a message for someone else? So again, it takes time, it takes practice to be able to really feel like you got it down and like you can trust it. So everyone receives it differently. And remember, it's going to feel like you're making shit up. So that's the one thing. If you remember one thing, remember that. Okay. So who is ready to meet your guardian angel? Awesome. Okay. So, through this little meditation, I am going to encourage you to trust your experience without expectations. So, I'm going to give you some prompts throughout this meditation to kind of test out each one of those clears we just talked about when you meet your angel. And so, you may notice that some are a lot easier for you. So, for example, maybe you can really imagine what your guardian angel looks like, but then when I ask you to hear the guardian angel's voice, you might be like, I don't get that at all. And so pay attention to it because many people have like one or two dominant intuitive senses. And if you are having a harder time with some of them, I also want you to know that it doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. It simply means that that's likely just not how you don't receive messages. So pay attention to the stuff that is coming through. And if you are a person that struggles with like doubt or skepticism, you probably can expect that little voice to come in that says, like, is this real? Am I just making this up? That's just what I wanted to hear. All of that stuff, right? Everyone knows that voice. Yeah. And so I just want you to make a deal with yourself now is that you're just going to send that voice away if it comes in and just be like, yeah, you can come in later. You can judge this as much as you want when we're done. But right now, you can go away. And so you might want like a pen and paper, something that you can just jot a few notes down. And so even if some of the stuff that comes in, it makes like zero sense to you, I want you to just jot it down anyway. And at most, ask your angel, like, what does this mean? Or, show me more, show me in a different way, something like that. But don't actually try to figure it out. When we go into that figure it out mode, that really kicks in like your left brain, more that logical side, and it can really quiet your intuition. And so just take some time later to like look at your notes and try to figure out, what did that yellow light mean or something like that. So do we have a deal? Can you give me a little yes or a thumbs up that you're with me? Okay, awesome. All right. So you'll just want to be in a place where you can be comfortable. Obviously, if you're driving, don't close your eyes. You can turn your video off if you're more comfortable. And we'll go ahead and start our little meditation to help you get clear on your intuitive senses and to meet your guardian angel. So go ahead and take a nice deep breath in. And slowly exhale. And go ahead and allow your eyes to softly close. And as you continue to connect to your breath, allow yourself to relax. And with each exhale, imagine that you are releasing any tension that you're holding in your mind or in your body. And I want you to bring your awareness down to the bottoms of your feet. And on the bottoms of your feet, you have chakras or energy centers. I want you to imagine almost like you're cranking a old volume dial, like on a radio. And as you crank this dial, you're opening these energy centers all the way up. And just notice if there's any feelings or sensations or anything you experience on the bottoms of your feet as you open these chakras up. Now I want you to imagine or feel or just know that you have roots growing down from the bottoms of your feet, growing through the floor, all the way down to the surface of the earth. And feel or imagine these roots continuing to grow through all the different layers of the earth. I want you to imagine these roots growing wider and stronger as they continue to grow deeper in the earth. And imagine these roots going all the way down to the center of Mother Earth. I want you to imagine that you're finding a way to anchor these roots into the center of Mother Earth. Maybe you just spread them out like deep roots of a tree. And as you inhale, I want you to pull this beautiful healing grounding energy up from Mother Earth, up through the bottoms of your feet. Allow it to fill your body. Allowing you to be fully present and to fully open up your heart for this connection with your guardian angel. And so now that you're nice and grounded, I want you to imagine that you're on a beach. Take just a moment to notice the water, maybe what color it is. They're big or gentle waves. Notice if the beach is sandy or rocky. And maybe this is something you imagine. Maybe it's something you just know. There's no wrong way to experience this beach. And as you stand by the water's edge on the beach, I want you to turn your gaze out to the horizon. And you sense something subtle beginning to shift in the air around you. You see a soft and radiant light begin to form on where the beach hits the water. And you feel it coming closer and closer. And trust in this light. It's the presence of your guardian angel coming to greet you. And as this light grows brighter, you feel a warm energy surrounding you, filling you with peace and love. And the air around you just feels softer. And so turn towards this light and acknowledge your guardian angel's presence with you. And when you're ready, step closer to this light and invite your guardian angel to reveal themselves to you. And take a moment to connect to what you see or what you imagine. Are you seeing a color? Are you seeing some sort of figure? Maybe it looks human. Maybe it has wings. Maybe it doesn't. Or maybe you see your angel as light, or even an animal. There's no right or wrong. And just remember, this is likely going to feel like your imagination. Your imagination and your intuition actually use the same part of your brain. And so now I want you to pay attention to what you feel. So ask your guardian angel to show you how they feel to you. Pay attention to any feelings or sensations in or around your body. For example, maybe you feel a warmth or an expansion in your heart. Or maybe it feels almost like someone's touching your arm or your shoulder. I also want you to notice what emotions you feel. And so now I want you to pay attention to what you hear. So I want you to imagine if you could hear your guardian angel's voice, what would it sound like? What would they say to you? And then what do you just know? What do you just know about your guardian angel? Maybe you know something about their personality or their demeanor or something that they want you to know. My hint to you here is this is going to feel like your thoughts. And so now I want you to ask your guardian angel to show you a symbol or a sign that they're with you, that they can use going forward. So you know when they're with you or when they're trying to get your attention. Ask them to show you a symbol or a sign. Again, it might make sense right away, or might not. And so now ask your guardian angel for guidance on your soul's purpose. What do they want you to know about why you're here? This might come in words, images, feelings, maybe just a deep sense of knowing that's hard to put into words. Trust any way that you receive it. And then ask your guardian angel for insight on the next step that you can take on your path to live your soul purpose. One simple next step. So know that you can connect with your guardian angel whenever you want. Simply ask them to come forward for you. Maybe take a moment to thank them for the guidance that they shared with you today. And then start to gently bring your awareness back to your breath. You can feel the ground underneath your feet. And slowly begin to bring your awareness back to your body, wiggling your fingers and toes, really reconnecting to the here and now. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes back up, bringing with you the wisdom and guidance of your guardian angel. And so after our sessions tonight, I want you to do some reflection and really think about like what senses came through the most powerfully for you. And you think about the experience with your guardian angel and how they're letting you know that they're there. And so if you want to keep connecting with your guardian angel, I suggest connecting with them daily through some stillness. You know, one of the other big blocks we have to our intuition is our minds tend to take over. They're really loud compared to our intuition. So try to find some time for some stillness and continue to connect with your guardian angel daily. You know, ask for signs. You know, we were talking about feathers and, you know, the fun things that we've been seeing showing up on our path. So ask your guardian angel to show you signs that they're with you. And of course, don't forget Archangel Uriel's message for you today to really get curious. So as you continue on your awakening journey, I have a special gift for you. I've created a guide that I have channeled directly from the Akashic Records called What Kind of Lightworker Are You? It's really designed to help you uncover your unique gifts and purpose so you can confidently step onto your path. And so it's free to download. Melanie has popped that right into the chat if you want to grab that. It's really fun. I'd love to hear what kind of lightworker you are. So our second session starts now. I'm a minute over, so I'm trying to keep myself on time here. So we'll be passing it over to Melanie in just a moment for from obedience to sovereignty. So I hope you can stick with us. She has an amazing topic for us. I want to thank you for being here and dedicating your time to your spiritual journey, and your commitment to this path is a powerful step towards that transformation that you're looking for. And stay open to the experiences and insights that unfold in the summit. So thank you so much for being here, and I can't wait to see you for you tomorrow with our sessions as well. So I will go ahead and pass this over to Melanie in just a second here.